Thank you for stopping by and welcome to Coffee with Carrie. Today's episode, we're talking about what a client said to me. She rocked my world when she said, I don't think this is for me, this dating thing. Not good looking enough. I think I might just be too ugly to date. And statistically, that is not true because there is, as my mother said, somebody for everyone. And also, any statistic you check out is going to share with you that looks are secondary to a few other things that are much more important than how appealing we are to the general public or the masses. I have a whole episode called Do Looks Matter, where I delve quite deeply into what is more important than good looks. But today we're just going to talk about what I told her. If you've ever had that thought, this might be interesting to you. If so, stick around because looks, am I too ugly to date? That's what's on the agenda. If you're new here, I'm Carrie. I'm a matchmaker and a dating coach with a swivel chair so I can point to things. I'd like to start by saying that I am not saying that looks don't matter. Of course they do. Nobody living in the world today is going to say that we don't notice looks, right? We do. That is what we lead with. Our eyes, our smile, our personality, however, comes into play because positive energy is a very strong element that attracts people to us, sometimes even where people are lacking in the looks department, not traditionally good looking. Positivity, confidence, we talk about confidence a lot, often picks up the slack in a really big way for somebody who is not typically good looking or typically pretty. And if you have this attitude, obviously that confidence is not working because you're already feeling less than. So you may want to blame the way you look on the fact that you're not finding anybody to date, but it's that lack of confidence underlying the way you feel about the way you look that may be the problem. So to summarize that, I'm not saying looks don't matter. Looks are typically not the primary issue when someone is not finding love, romance, or partnership. Sure, you can find confirmation that it's all about looks, that the way people present themselves or how good looking they are is the draw to everybody for romance. In all the dark corners of the internet, there will be somebody there who wants to tell you that it's because they don't look a certain way that women don't like them or men don't like them. It's a whole movement, people saying that women only date guys who look a certain way, and because they're not part of that group, nobody wants to date them. But that's not true, because very often when I meet these people in person or I work with them one-on-one, I will tell you that it is that attitude in particular that is the turnoff. If they're not leading with all the fine qualities that they do possess and making the most of the way they look, that in itself is what is unattractive. I've always felt that it's that toxicity. Did I say toxicity? Yeah, that's the right word. It's the toxicity that is unattractive. And if you buy into that and you have those negative thoughts that are prioritizing beauty over brains, kindness, thoughtfulness, charm, interest, curiosity, a lust for life, if you are prioritizing looks over that, maybe that's making you a person that is not connecting with people you're hoping to connect with. And if you're a person who finds yourself in an echo chamber where that is the message that's being presented to you on a regular basis, I beseech you to, that's a cool word, to remove yourself from that echo chamber, get some positivity in your life in other ways, and be mindful of surrounding yourself with people who will build you up, encourage you to continue growing, continue to be a lifelong learner, and to be looking at the positive situations. What's that thing they say where you are the combination of the 5 people you spend the most time with? I don't know if that's true, but why would you want to surround yourself with 5 people who are negative and telling you you're not good enough, not good looking enough? or using that as an excuse as to why you're not connecting. Find somebody who loves you and reminds you every day about all the great things. I'm talking about friends, right? And family members, people who build you up as opposed to anybody who's going to bring you down. And if you're doing this to yourself by hanging out on the internet in the dark recesses of that negativity, misogyny, areas where there's hate, that's your choice to move up and out of there to create a life for yourself where you can find love and partnership. And let's quickly talk about some of the things that we do that make us more attractive, because those are as important as what we were born with and what we bring to the table in from our gene pool. I'm going to lump them together, otherwise I'll be reading in between every one. Good grooming, good posture, and good health are the top three. Good grooming, obviously you want to look good, you want to smell good, you want to dress nicely, you want to make the most of what you're working with. Good health, you want to make sure you have good dental health, good smells emanating from your body, being fit, keeping yourself active, and making the most of the body you were born with to keep it active and greased and oiled. Feeding it good food, giving it rest, giving it exercise. And then posture is really, really important. I watched a whole podcast on posture this past week, maybe it was last week, but it really impacts how we show up with other people. What they think about us is very often based on how we carry ourselves. We can literally turn people off, make them tune out by how we choose to carry ourselves, or the way we choose to sit, or what we're saying about ourselves without the confidence of having a forward, strong, healthy posture. If you find yourself, I find myself slouching all the time. So I've been working on that all the time, constantly reminding myself shoulders back, where do my neck goes. It's a process. It's not easy to do, but it's really important, not just for our health and our bones and our, the way we will look when we're very elderly, but how other people perceive us. So these are things that before we jump to the conclusion that we're not good enough, we must consider those three things for sure. I'll remind you here that choosing to focus on flaws is a mindset. It's a choice. Therefore, doing the opposite is also a choice. Who gets to make this choice? We do, right? You do. So we talk so much about confidence here. I think there's like about 5-6 episodes where I talk about signs that somebody isn't confident, how to build your confidence, what confidence looks like, can you fake confidence? Lots of confidence episodes. Just type in Coffee with Carrie Confidence. They all come up if you search YouTube. But it really is so important. I always say it's key because it overcomes so many other things. If you feel good about yourself, certain things about yourself, other people will be drawn to that. People love confidence. Part of that is the way you carry yourself, the way you walk into a room, and somehow that emanates from you, right? Somehow people can read and tell if you feel good about yourself. And that is something that makes other people want to know why you're so confident. What do you have going on that they should know or want to know more about? So I'm not overplaying confidence when I talk about it. It really is super important and pretty much everything. And a reminder that you don't have to be born with confidence. Nobody is probably born with confidence. It's certainly how you were raised, but it's certainly also something that you can work at, learn, be better at, and master. And I think here would be a good place to remind you of the 4 qualities that everybody says they want. Obviously, some people come to me and they will say, I want somebody who's good looking, who's smart, who's funny. That good looking piece, that means different things to different people. That really doesn't inform me of what I'm looking for as a matchmaker. We kind of have to get specific. Sometimes I will match them with somebody I don't find particularly attractive because we know beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as my mother told me. They'll think this person is fantastic looking. I'm like, well, that's what you meant. Not my type, right? Or I could have sent them out with somebody who did find them beautiful. And the next person is like, not my type. So just as a reminder, everybody has their own unique tastes and are drawn to different things in people. So to make any type of a sweeping generalization that our looks are not right for lots of people isn't really fair, because lots of people have different things that are pleasing to their eye. It's just a silly statement because we're all so unique. That first quality is curious nature. A curious nature is something that almost everybody talks about. They don't always name it that way. They talk around it, and I said, it sounds like you want somebody who is curious about life, wants to experience new things, wants to learn more. And they're like, yes, that's what I'm trying to say. So people want somebody who's curious. They want somebody who's compassionate. People want somebody who has empathy and sympathy. So somebody who can put themselves in somebody else's shoes and understand things from their perspective. They're not all wrapped up in their own head, which sometimes is all that's required. And then the last thing is that people want somebody who have a passion about something. They have something that they care about, that they want to give themselves to, put energy into. Different for all kinds of people. A lot of people will just say, I want them to have something besides me. I want them to have something that they are interested in, that they can either teach me about or talk to me about, be excited about, and share with me. You know, I have something like that. I'd love for somebody to have their own passions. I don't love the word, but we know what they mean, right? I think it's easy to say I'm not good enough, but I think it takes courage to come to dating with an attitude of positivity and abundance, knowing that there's lots of people out there. You're not going to connect with everyone anyway. You're not everybody's cup of coffee. This is one from yesterday. I didn't put in the dishwasher, but I'm not everybody's cup of tea, coffee, and that's okay, because I don't like everybody I meet either. And when you realize that you don't find yourself attracted to or wanting to learn more about everyone that you see or is introduced to you or is on an app or that you go on a first date with, it's really easy to understand that you're not for everybody either. It's very special when two people find each other and they do form a connection. Like, that's rare. That should be celebrated with a second date, usually would be my suggestion. But that's really what abundance is about, not coming at dating from a place of scarcity, which is so small, so negative, but to realize there's a world full of people, and as we travel through it, we're going to meet people, and we'll be attracted to some, not others, but if we come at it openly, we'll probably make some great connections along the way, and some of them will be romantic, and one of them might be a lifelong partnership. So my suggestion, if you've had this thought or felt this way, is to get out of your own way. Stop self-sabotaging. I'll say that one more time. Get out of your own way. Stop self-sabotaging, and instead walk through the world with a feeling of positivity and abundance and confidence, and you will be amazed that that draws people to you, and you'll have options of who you want to get to know better, who's a friend, who's a possibility for romance, who's just a person that you can make their day by smiling at them and putting them in a good mood. And I know that this shift takes time. It's not an overnight thing where you can suddenly turn into somebody who sees the world differently, but it's your job. Work at it, grow every day to be the best version of yourself, and you will be surprised that good things happen when you're looking for good things to happen. It's fine to be a late bloomer. Allow yourself to be open to being surprised. And remember, honestly, looks, they ain't everything. Hope you found that interesting and or helpful. Mom says if you did, you should give the episode a thumbs up. Personally, I would love for you to subscribe, and I will look forward to seeing you again soon. So hit that ring bell so you're notified every time a new episode goes live, and I'll see you back soon. Until then, have a good one.